because this is about paying your bills. Everybody here understands this. I mean, this is not a complicated concept. You don't go out to dinner and then, eat all you want and then leave without paying the check. And if you do, you're breaking the law. And Congress should think about it the same way that the American people do. You don't. Now, if Congress wants to have a debate about maybe we shouldn't go out to dinner next time, maybe we should go to a more modest restaurant, that's fine. That's a debate that we should have. But you don't say, in order for me to control my appetites, I'm going to not pay the people who already provided me services.
Okay, the point of the clip wasn't, again, the debate about the debt limit. Thank you. Everyone around the table is saying thank you. But it's that the president has to explain what I would hope most of us know. The debt limit isn't about prospective spending. It's about money you already spent. But it seems that more and more often the president, at least in the last 4 years, has spent so much time explaining basic things to the public. Now, remember when he had to spend time explaining that, yes, in fact, he was an American?
We've had every official in Hawaii, Democrat and Republican, every news outlet that has investigated this, confirm that, yes, in fact, I was born in Hawaii, August 4th, 1961, in Kapi'olani Hospital. Normally, I would not comment on something like this because obviously there's a lot of stuff swirling in the press at any given day, and I've got other things to do. But 2 weeks ago, when the Republican House had put forward a budget that will have huge consequences potentially to the country, during that entire week, the dominant news story wasn't about these huge monumental choices that we're going to have to make as a nation. It was about my birth certificate.
And how about when the president had explained that, in fact, he was not a Muslim?
The Republicans, they're trying to make this not about you, but about me. They're trying to say, well, Obama, we don't know him that well. He hasn't been around that long. He's got a funny name. Maybe he's a Muslim. They've been saying that a long time now. It doesn't matter how many times you tell them I'm Christian. They keep on trying to perpetrate this. Oh, he doesn't believe in the Second Amendment, even though I keep on saying I am. They want to make people worry about me.
Okay. Now, it might be because this guy's constantly dealing with stuff like this, for example.
The Obama administration revealed its plans to go after gun owners.
A new assault on their freedom to buy and own guns.
These guys, they'll take away guns.
There's no birth certificate. There's only a certificate of live birth, which is a totally different thing and a much, much lower standard. There are no hospital records. His own family doesn't know what hospital he was born in Hawaii.
If the president won't lead us here in the direction of reducing this massive spending addiction that we have, then we have to use whatever leverage we have. And there are some examples of leverage coming along. The debt ceiling is one of them that hopefully would get the president engaged, even though he seems unwilling to do it on his own.
He said, I'll take the checkbook. He wants to change the way Washington works by giving the president the checkbook. Congress has always had checks and balances on the spending, power of the purse. I think yesterday he turned the corner and showed people he's got a big, big, big liberal agenda, progressive agenda that he's going to push forward.
We are in a serious and steady decline as a country.
No doubt about that.
Believe.
Okay. The point, though, was it got me to thinking either we, the people, deserve the heat because we're not finding out our own facts, or it's the media's fault because depending on whichever media it is, they're going to give you only the part of it. I mean, I didn't even get into stuff like, remember death panels? How much traction that got, and a Republican candidate for president, Michelle Bachmann, was the one trotting it out on the floor of Congress that he's looking to kill old people and stuff. Whose fault do you think, Jeannie, is it that we have to deal with alternate senses of reality when there's really only one?
I happen to think it's the fault of our political leaders and our public officials. I really do. I think in a democracy, we tend to think that, you know, the people are ruling and they have so much power, when in fact we are all dependent on our public officials. And in the case of the birther, in the case of, you know, whether he's Muslim or Christian or what his religion is, those are issues that public officials and people in opposing parties brought up because they had nothing else to attack him on. In the other cases, they are cases of issues that people strongly and vehemently disagree with him on. So I'm not so certain it's about, you know, changing, you know, fact into falsehood and falsehood into fact, as much as it is plain old politics. And I think our public officials, in a very contentious time, have chosen to go down this path, and I think that the American people suffer from that.
You know, Dominic, I remember 4.5 years ago in the race for president, when that little old lady went to John McCain and said, he's a Muslim, you know, he's part of, you know, and to his credit, Senator McCain says, no, he's not. You know, he's not with the terrorists, he's not, you know, and you could look at her and she's like, what are you talking about? My God, my world just changed here. Because if you think about the stuff that she hears. Now, I'm not looking to attack that lady, but if you choose to seek out only stuff that will tell you what you want to hear, is it your fault as a citizen that you're not bothering to educate yourself what's going on? Or is it the fault of the media that preys on people that want only a perspective and they won't color it? They'll just erase it and put in their own version of reality. Whose fault is it?
It's everyone's fault. It really is. If you want to work for a certain network, I'll leave that network out. The truth doesn't matter. You have to fit into an ideology, and the only way you're going to get on that network is to fit into that way of thinking, period. So everything that comes out of your mouth is going to be far, far right, for the most part. I'm not condemning all of my colleagues there because I've been on that network. But there is that philosophy, and I left the name out on purpose. Richard, I point this out to you. Remember, only about, what, 60% of the country votes?
No,
so,
less than that.
Okay, well, I was trying to be nice. I didn't want to say 50%.
I think it's less than that.
So most people are living their lives. They're not paying attention to the political process. So I feel it's on us. People are not going to know what a debt limit is. It's on us to explain what that is. You can't expect the average person who's not paying, who feels that politicians are dirty and crooks anyway. Let's be honest about this. You can't expect that person to say, oh, okay, in between paying the mortgage and doing Johnny's homework and feeding the dog, I'm going to sit down and study what the debt limit is. I'm sorry, it's just not the way it is.
And I happen to agree with you on that. I happen to agree you cannot blame the American public, but I also feel as much as the media can be blamed, they are out there to make money. Our public officials are there to serve us. So the media do deserve some blame, but they are trying to make money. Our public officials have to serve us.
I remember, I'm not trying to sound like Grandpa here, but I remember, Andrew.
Back in the day when you were
no,
walking.
but if I just said something completely untrue, there'd be consequences. I can get in trouble for it. Now, you say whatever you want, and damn the torpedoes. And then on the secondary side, it used to be, we were talking about in the break, if you didn't know anything, you kind of kept your mouth shut. Now, you feel entitled to opine about anything. And I think that's probably a consequence of the new social media. But people take great pride in being idiots and telling everyone that they don't need it, they don't know anything, but they don't need to have a valid opinion.
I was going to speak the truth, but we're out of time, as you can hear about the music, so I blame the lack of time on this show and others. Rich?
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about how one movie, in fact, nominated for Academy here and a lot of other things, became the center of a political controversy, and it has everything to do with, if you agree with something, that's fine. But if you disagree with it, can it still be art? We'll be right back talking about Zero Dark 30 after this.